What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Scoop, and we got my boy Rel in the cut today, man. And we back with another vid. What's up, Rel? What's up, bro?
Yes, sir, we back,
What
man.
happened?
It's been a minute, but as long as we pushing these vids out, it's always gonna be a W. We just had a great weekend. Tell them what we was doing, Scoop. Feel me?
Yeah, if y'all watched the vlog, first off, you know what I'm saying. We went to the Boots versus Lima card, man. I'm not gonna lie. This was Rel's first experience at a boxing fight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, my first time at a boxing fight, and we're gonna get into that. But yep, first time. Yep.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Beautiful, beautiful card, in my opinion, man. By the way. Uh, I'm glad they brought it to the Xfinity Center now. You know, it used to be the Wells, but I'm glad they brought. We're bringing big time boxing back to Philadelphia. And while we're on the topic of Philadelphia, man, Boots Ennis, bro, that was a crazy performance, bro. Like, just give me your thoughts, because we was there, and we was damn near ringside. So, like,
Yeah.
how do you feel like, how did you feel about just the main event in general? We're gonna get into the other card, but just give me like a quick little statement just on like the main event for me.
Well, the main event, yeah. The last thing, definitely, I would say was. Yeah, that fight was crazy, and you know how it get, fights don't usually the crowd don't usually get there to like main event or like close to like second to close fight, bro.
Mhm.
Literally, soon as people sat down, soon as the whole arena got filled up, everyone had to go because it was
Yeah.
a lights out show just like that.
Mhm.
Boots definitely did his thing. He hurt him pretty quickly. It only took a minute to hurt him, and
Right.
knocked him down a few times just to let it go on for a little longer. But the inevitable happened. He went down. The ref called it, and
Yeah.
man, that was a statement. Now, was it what we wanted to see? Or let me see. Was it what I wanted to see? Not necessarily,
Yeah.
but for what we got, it was a great show. I would
Right.
definitely say.
Did you see it like playing out like that though? Like, cause me personally, right? I'm thinking, first fight at 154 has to adjust to the weight. You know, he's gonna move around a little bit, get a feel for how the punches feel at the new weight class. You know what I'm saying? That's how I envisioned it going. You know, I didn't
What I
envision.
would say is I definitely seen the fight playing out exactly what it is. Like, and I
Yeah.
think I mentioned this either during the vlog or like while we was talking last we linked. Like Boots, he was a pretty big 147 guy. If you look at him in stature, like he was definitely. It was crazy. He was making 147 for the first 9 years of his career. The whole time. And to me, I could see this dude ending up in 160 not too long after. I know he got some things to accomplish in
Yeah.
154, but he's only 28. I can see him at 160 and 168. Like, bro, he has some size on him, no homo. So I
Yeah.
think that he showed that he fits perfectly well into this weight class. And he said after the fight, like, I felt great, some of the best he ever felt. Like, he moving perfectly. He says like he's not draining himself. He feels every power. He feels every inch he has. So no
Right.
homo. Like, what I'm saying. I think he likes it the weight as well.
Yeah. So for me, man, like I've been to one of Boots' fights before when he unified. Crazy, right? But like just the comfortability, man, I feel like that was like one of the major factors here. Like he's at home. You've seen the way he's taking his time to the ring. You know what I'm saying? Just he to me, he's a very confident fighter. He believes in his ability. You know, a lot of fighters they talk the talk, but they don't really walk the walk. And I feel like he's one of those guys in boxing that really believes like I'm one of these top guys for sure. And you could see it like just throughout the entrance and just the way the round started. And like, I know we were super close, but bro, I kind of missed the shot he caught him with, bro. Like, literally, that's how quick that shit was. Like, it was like, boom. I'm like, oh, he rocked. Now I hear the crowd's going crazy. I'm like, yo, what?
Hmm.
I'm looking at the
Hmm.
fight. Oh, now he's on the floor. I'm like, wait, what just happened? And
Yeah,
then
it was so fast.
I'm thinking he's gonna grab, bro. Like in my head, I'm like, he's gonna grab, bro. Try to fight it out. got dropped again. I said, "Oh yeah, it's over." Once I seen the second knockdown and the ref let him get back up, I said, "Yeah, Boots about to finish this. You know, this is about to be a
Mhm.
TKO." The ref came in, stopped the fight, and I was like, "Damn." Now I gotta be honest though with you, bro. You know, I've been thinking about this for like the whole fight. I mean, after the fight, I was like, I know we got to do a recap on this. I'm gonna be honest with you though. I know it was a spectacular KO. Don't get me wrong, right? He dropped him twice, stopped him, all with under 2 minutes, by the way. Just to let y'all know. I still feel like I need more though, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I just been saying, like this guy Lima, like we don't know him. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, like we watched a couple fights, right? But we want a name, man. Like we really want a name. Like I feel like that was the only downfall of this whole entire event. Like great KO, great everything. It's just who you KO. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say like what you take away from it. It just is what it is. I
Yeah, for
think
sure.
Matchroom, right now and Eddie Hearn's doing a great job of building his name. I feel like over the past year, his name is getting bigger in the boxing world, like outside of just Philly. But this is kind of just a maturing process, and I kind of used an example in the last fight. Like I don't want to call him this, but maybe he's like a super developed prospect at this point. Like they're still kind
Yeah,
of handpicking who they're gonna throw against
building
them.
him up. Yeah,
And I know that 147, it wasn't as many talented dudes, especially near the end. And especially they just gave him a belt. Yeah, just take a belt. Like
yeah.
he became what they call it a magazine belt, magazine champion.
Ring
What they
magazine,
call? Nah,
lineal, lineal.
he became that, but like they just threw him to IBF just because Crawford didn't make a
Oh,
decision on
he
what he
was
was going to
elevated.
do.
He was elevated to champ. Yeah,
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying. He didn't have to beat nobody, especially
yeah.
none
He
of
was
them.
interim, and he was raised the champ due to the belts being dropped. Yeah,
Yeah, so I wish I seen him in a championship fight, but obviously he did defend his title, what 2 or 3 times. So definitely all respect to that. But
yeah.
it's time to where because 154 is so deep. That's another thing. Like we got to
Facts.
add to this equation. Like Lima out of it's about like 12 to this is pool of
Like
12 to 15 dudes who
15,
like
honestly, maybe even more than that, bro. If we really
that
sit
you
down and
at
like,
least know, you at
yeah,
least,
for sure.
heard, maybe even if they're on decline. I wouldn't mind you fighting like a known fighter who's on their decline because that still shows me, okay, you fought someone at a world level. Lima has never really fought at the world level.
Yeah,
And, you know, so I'm just taking this fight what it is, against this opponent. I expect this from Boots, and Boots showed up like in a spectacular fashion. Because
yeah.
that's another thing. Like sometimes these dudes do get hand-picked fights and struggle with them. So you still gotta,
He's
Boots, you
still
still did
finishing
your
the
thing.
job. Yeah,
You still
yeah,
did your thing. So you
yeah,
still gotta congratulate that. But like you
yeah.
said, in terms of, and I'm pretty sure you were about to ask me soon, like, what do you think like this done for maybe his resume or
Yeah,
legacy? Does this change how he's looked at in the boxing world? And to me, it hasn't moved the needle much at all.
yeah.
Just for the fact that I know you could have did this to Lima. Like, what?
Facts. Yeah,
Like, this
for sure.
wasn't.
We always expecting the KO. Like literally,
Yeah,
KO is like plus 100 or something like that. Or
yeah. Like,
and so
come
we,
on.
it was kind of expected. You know, I just feel as though it was a good welcoming party to 154. Now I don't think it does nothing for him at 154 because what is all these top 154 guys saying when Boots did that? I mean, well, who's Lima? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I was viewing it. Like, of course, it was a spectacular, knockout, and he got the stoppage, but it's just like who you knocking out, and I just feel like it makes you look good, but legacy wise, it doesn't really budge nothing. Honestly, in my opinion, like it doesn't really, That's just me. I
Yeah,
mean,
I agree. But he's only 28. And he has a lot of time. He started
sure.
pro as a teenager, so he has a lot of time. He's right, really getting into his prime, and like he says, he feels his absolute best right now. So we should be seeing the next Boots for the next few years. And Now it's time to see like what that actual level is at.
For sure.
There's countless. I mean, we just talked about it, countless fights we could take at 154. Um, I know Virgil is the next guy. If
Yeah,
he gets over that
I
that
like that
notch,
as well. At the end of the fight, I don't know if you remember, who want me, Fedora? He started calling out a bunch of names. I was like, this is what we need. This is the boost we want. Like, yo, tell us who you want to fight. Don't just everybody, old thorough boots. Yeah, everybody. I want them all. He straight was like, who? Charlo, I want Charlo. We can fight Charlo. He said, which I want Fedora. We can fight. That's what I like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this boxing, bro. Don't beat around the bush, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
this
address
is
like, yo.
boxing.
He said what? He said what? Xander? Y'all want Xander? I'm like, yeah, this is what we need, bro. Start calling out the champs, bro. You know what I'm saying? And like we was about to get into, what do you feel like is next for Boots to elevate legacy? Like, not just what's next in general. What do you think is next to be like, okay, Boots is like, yeah, he's that guy. Like, what fight next makes you believe like, yeah, Boots is this guy for sure?
For me, I think for me, it needs to be two dominant performances or at least two good wins against, top elite guys.
Yeah.
What that means is okay. Let's see he go fights a Virgil and they fight a tough fight, 6-6. They give it the nod to Jaron, and then he goes and fight another not top level contender. Well, did you really prove yourself that you're all world? Did you really prove that you belong in the top five 154 pounders with
Right.
that? No, I need to see, and I know Virgil is a good fighter, but Terrence Crawford, Floyd Mayweather, these are perfect examples of dudes who, yeah, the guys they're fighting are good fighters, but we're gonna neutralize them to the point where they don't even look like they're on the same level as me. You
Level
know
is
what I'm
you,
saying?
yeah. It's
Terrence Crawford,
spectacular
he
performances against top,
that's
guys.
what makes them legendary and great.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to compare Boots and put them on a Floyd Mayweather and Terrence Crawford level, but if
Yeah.
that's you're gonna have to start doing some all worldly things to combat with, some of the things you're saying, some of the things Eddie is saying. Eddie's trying to get the Crawford fight, and you know everyone's saying Boots is the next one. Well, you need to be dominant. The reason we call Mike Tyson, Gervonta Davis, like they were spectacular for against the fights they were in. They may not have been, I still don't think Tank fought the most elite of the elite competition, but when he did the solid, the B plus fighters, the Ryans,
Knocks him
the
out. He
Rollies,
knocks him
the
out.
the the
Yeah.
Cruz, he beat in a decision. Like those are still like quality wins where you can be like, all right, you know what?
He's
After that,
good.
after that
Yeah.
win, you gotta at least have in a top 15, top 20 pound for pound. You know what I'm saying? He accumulated enough. Booth isn't close to that. Like I need at
Yeah.
least 2 to 3 fights for me to put him in like a top 10 pound for pound conversation. That's me. How far do you think? Like if he dominates Virgil, what does that do for you?
Well, to be honest with you, bro, I like Virgil. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a great fighter, but I just think that it's just big ass hype train with Virgil, to be 100% honest.
Mm.
He's ranked number one by Ring Magazine, pound for pound at 154. He doesn't even have a strap. That's not glazing, bro? That's not glazing, bro? That's not glazing.
Well, I do think he has a great win over Israel,
You
which
still have to get a strap. How are you above Fundora? Fundora's
I
unified
mean,
champ.
but we know we can't just always go off a strap because dudes like
I
Abdullah Mason
mean,
don't got a strap
that's what.
yet.
Listen.
You
That's
got
what matters,
dudes.
though. That's what matters in the weight class, right? You don't go in a weight class and you fight a bunch of former champs and not the main champs, and you're better than the main champs. No, listen. If Virgil was to get a win over a guy that got a strap, I'm not mad if you're ranked number one. You know what I'm saying? But to be an interim champion for like 3 years or 4 years now, and now don't get me wrong, these guys gotta fight him. Now I'm with that, but it's just like I need a strap first. I need a title. Like I'm a guy. I respect lineage. You know what I'm saying? I'm a guy that move off
I
lineage.
respect that
You know what I'm
too.
saying? So like, if you don't got a strap, how could you be better than all these guys. Now, that's not saying that you can't beat these guys. Don't get me wrong. Like, that's not saying that. But it's like, how could y'all put someone ranked above champions? People that have the
I
belt.
mean,
You know what I'm saying? That's what matters, right?
I know. I kind of agree that you can do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? People move up in weight classes all the time. They may not challenge for belts, but if you beat a certain guy, you know, but Virgil been at 154 for a while. Let's think about it though. Like,
You can go. We can break it down.
Xander
Fedor's
doesn't
been
have
now.
no.
Xander's
Listen,
different.
no. Listen, Xander doesn't have a win that's better than Idril Mazrimov. That's just the facts. He
Yeah,
doesn't have a win
I can
better than
agree
him.
to that. I
Now,
can
if you
agree
want to
to that.
say Fundora, he shouldn't be ranked higher than a Fundora because Fundora has fought multiple guys and beaten Tim Tszyu twice
Stepped
and
in last minute. Stepped in last minute, by the way, and beat the guy that was supposed to have two of the straps. So he beat the number one guy on a short notice. Went back, did a rematch because it was a close fight, and stopped him. It's like certain things. Like, don't get me wrong, Xander. I agree to that statement. You know, Xander. He's a newly champion. You know, he just became champ. But the guy
yeah,
he
but
fought wasn't really good. The guy he fought was ranked high in that same joint. So they just fought. They put it on the line because it got
that's
vacant.
what I'm
They
saying.
fought
You
for it.
can't always go off the
Now,
championships. You can't.
agreed. But the champions that fought for their belts, you can't do that. The Russian guy, hell no. The Russian guy to me, I think he's one of the guys that can compete with Fundora. Honestly, I got him at 2 in the weight class. I got Fundora. I think it's like Baraki or something like that. I got him at 2, and then I would start taking bro into consideration. But for him to be above the unified champion in the division is insanity, bro. That is like ultimate glazing right there. But to get back onto the boost topic, I believe that I wouldn't be mad to watch a Virgil fight, and I know that's the fight that everybody wants, and I think that does boost his legacy. But I just feel as though I think you either beat Virgil or you either beat like a Keith Thurman, you know what I'm saying, like a former champ, or a Charlo, like a former champ, you know what I'm saying. Then you go for one of the champions, and that does like numbers for you,
But
like you know what I'm saying.
no, I don't think so because I truly believe that you know the win against the dudes in their prime is what really makes the greatest. Like we don't talk about Ali because he beat old Sonny not Sonny Liston was still in his prime, but he was a
Right.
little older.
He
We
was just
talking about him
leave
because
exiting it. Yeah.
he beat Floyd Patterson in his prime, the younger, stronger Joe Frazier. He beat him twice. He beat the younger George Foreman, like
Yeah.
Kenny Norton. All these dudes are way younger than him. He's still beating them. Like think about it with Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, he's beating Marvin Hagler in his prime, beating Hearns and Duran like in their prime. That's the reason we call him the GOAT. Like, I think Virgil, because he's also around 28, 29, I think
Yeah.
that does him a better win than beating a Keith Thurman. Because like you just said, if he beats Thurman, man, Thurman's good, but
Yeah.
he's a little old. Like that's
For
exactly
sure.
you can't say nothing like Virgil. You're in your dead prime. There's no excuse you can make. If he beats a Virgil and especially dominates him, I think that's probably the best win. Either him,
Yeah.
Fundora, just because the age factor. I think those are the two probably best wins in
Yeah.
the division right now.
Now,
That's in my opinion.
the reason why I say like a Charlo or a Keith or Virgil is
I say
because
that for like a second or third fight, just to I know what you're saying to
you're
build
like
his name
you're
up,
not even
just
just
to
name,
build the
just to
name.
have it on, your resume. Like, yo, I fought this guy. That's what a lot of fighters do when they come up. Am I wrong or right? Terry
Yeah,
Crawford, he fought a Gamboa when Gamboa was leaving his prime. You know what I'm saying? Or for instance, we can go we can go heavyweight. You had Tyson Fury fight Klitschko leaving his prime. All
yeah.
these fighters have guys that was the guys on the resume. And I just feel like Boots doesn't really have nobody on there that's like, all right, this guy was a guy, even though he might have been his prime when he fought him. At least he has a guy. But I don't think, in my opinion, I like Boots too. He's one of my favorite fighters. But besides like Stanionis, I don't really, like who did this guy like really fight that was, like a guy, like an actual bull. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have nobody. That's why I say, You know, it's a new weight class. Get one of these names and then go for the championship. But I do agree. I believe fighting Virgil does give him the fans respect. You know, that's kind of what does matter.
Yeah,
That
and because he's a young gun, like just like
yeah,
Boots, and they're both trying to
yeah,
prove that they're both top 10 pound for pound fighters. Like those are the fights that put you in there. Like to me, if you beat a Charlo that's a shell of himself, I don't know how Charlo's gonna look when he comes back, but he hasn't fought for 2.5 years, and last time we seen him, he was getting beaten up. Like
yeah,
if he comes back and beat him, they're just gonna be looking at him like, okay, that's solid, but he
yeah.
just was getting beat up and he took 3 years off the ring. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those are the things they're
For
gonna
sure.
say.
I can agree to that for sure. You know how boxing is. They'll
Yeah,
pause, they'll eat you alive, bro. You know, they don't
100%.
play. But I do agree though. The Virgil fight, I do think boosts his celebrityness, I guess, in the sport as well. Because you know, you beat a Virgil, like you said, a young gun. It does nothing. But to be honest, you have to fight for a title now. You just beat the guy that was
Yeah.
supposed to fight for the all
If
the
you
belts.
beat a
But
young gun, you know
no,
what I'm
go ahead.
saying?
I'm listening. Go ahead.
If you beat a young gun, then you go get a championship. Like even
Right.
against who's the WBC champ?
Fandor.
No. The WBA.
Fundora, WBC and WBA, Fundora.
What's the other dude name who was like I forget this dude's
Barackam,
name.
Russian Bull.
Not the Russian bull. So Fundora got two belts plus Xander and the IBF got the and Barackam
So
got the
so
IBF.
Barack got IBF, Xander has WBO, and then Fundora got the two of the other straps. And no one has the Ring Magazine belt. Nobody.
Nobody. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
So
it was
I think
another guy who I think he could like who was a solid guy, but I gotta remember his name. But just to get back into it, like I think Virgil and beating another guy in his prime, like or
right.
just stopping
Yeah,
someone's track, like stop all Xander's momentum, stop
yeah,
all Fandora's momentum. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? I feel like that does great for his resume.
for sure. I believe if he stops Virgil, he has to win a strap. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if he does that. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know,
Because
I
this
think
is
he
one of
will.
them fights where it's really like you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because bro, Virgil's a live dog, bro. He's a live dog. You know what I'm saying? Like he
He better
may,
not be too big of a dog on
yeah,
sports books because I'm gonna have to. If he's too big of a dog, like,
yeah.
cause I know Boots probably should be the favor if you just do the eye test
With
thing,
just
but
boxing abilities, yeah,
but I just think that right now Virgil with the one fight against Madrimov and he has like a few other solid wins that he
and
would
he's
put on nice
been
and
at
clean. You know,
154. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
I think that yeah, if you stop Virgil.
You have to. You're gonna have to go get a strap. It's impossible. You stop Virgil, you probably stop Xander. I don't know about Barackam.
I think you
Barackham's
stop.
tough. Barackham is
Yeah,
tough.
I wouldn't take the Barackam fight.
Yeah, I think if you do that, it got to be for like the undisputed. Like you taking a risk, like you trying to get all the straps. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do that before you get a
I
strap.
don't think Matchroom does that just to like, you still got to bring up the fighter. You still got to worry about
Yeah,
that part. But like I said, like that's the risk though. Like if you somehow beat Virgil, beat Bakram, dude, you are maybe top 10. You
that's
know
what I'm
what I'm saying?
saying.
Like that's like, but those are the
That'd
type
be
of risks you
crazy.
gotta take in boxing for you to like prove. Like you really gotta do it for years on years. Like I don't put
Yeah,
dudes like Shakur, who's also around like 29, 30 in the top 10 for no reason. Like he's won three world championships at three different divisions against the division's kind of best fighters at the time. At the
yeah,
time,
for sure.
and yeah, so I think Boots, we're gonna keep on saying it over and over again. He has all world potential.
Yeah,
We see what's there. The eye test is hard not to like what you see, but now it's
yeah,
just time to put a pen to paper and let's get these contracts rolling.
yeah, and get these guys, man, for sure. Quick thing before we go, right? I need a prediction, because apparently on contract. We got Virgil versus if he beats Lubin. I heard he has to beat Lubin, though. They said if Virgil beats Lubin, they have a contract signed that we're going to get Virgil versus Boots. So apparently we know what we want next, but we really know what's next if Virgil wins. So if Virgil wins this fight, right, who do you pick? Just from a betting man's perspective, who do you bet? Who do you pick?
Yeah, so and this is also I'm glad you asked that question. Because I think between both guys' careers, right? If you name the list of all the fighters both guys have won, I think the top two guys will go to Virgil with Lubin
Yeah,
and Madrimov. Like I think Lubin has been fighting at a world level for the past 8 years. When he first challenged for Charlo in 2017, he's been fighting. He's fought a Fundora. He's fought and beaten plenty of other solid guys. This is his third or fourth title try. Like I think this is an actual really really true B plus A minus kind of guy. This is a true guy who's been there, done that. I think I would favor him in any against any fighter that Boots has beaten. So I would say that edge goes to Virgil. Like he's been in deeper waters, and as you know, Virgil's been in tougher fights because he's gone against some a little better guys. So if he gets
yeah.
past the Lubin, I think that Boots versus Virgil goes to decision no matter what. I think that that's my early prediction. I think that both will try to show their boxing skills because Virgil's is kind of slept on. I know he's the ferocious young guy with some power, but he's very he has very good IQ in there. He has really good skills. He may not be as glaringly fast as Boots, but he's still pretty fast.
Great jab
Uh,
too. His jab's
yeah,
pretty solid. It's solid.
yeah. You know, that's my early prediction, man. Before I could get
You
the
go
winner,
decision.
I know Boots is gonna be the favorite on sports books. That's just I'm probably gonna assume that,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, my decision so far is gonna go to the decision.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like Boots by decision. I think Virgil has a tailor-made style for Boots. He comes forward, and what did Boots do well when people come forward? He does what he does best. He's flashy, whatever. I just think he just has to be a little bit defensively sound though, because if you get hit by Virgil, you can get hurt. Virgil hits that hard where it's like, all right, gotta stay defensive sound. But I'm a firm believer in style make fights. So every guy that has came forward with Boots and not stopped, he's boxed their head off. So I just think he's gonna handicap him, honestly. But I don't think Virgil's going though. Like I don't think he's the type bull that's gonna get knocked out. I don't think he's gonna quit either. I think he's gonna try to knock him out from 1-12. And I just think Boots boxes his head off
Do
from
you
1-12.
see a kind of similar fight as to what happened as like a Terrence and Canelo? Even though Virgil's gonna have more output, it would be in between versus that and like Shakur versus Zepeda.
Yeah,
When like the more skilled guy is keeping off an aggressive guy. I don't
yeah.
know if he'll
Mm.
dominate the way Terrence and Shakur did, but that's what I'm kind of seeing, especially from the southpaw. I think he'll give Virgil a few problems. He'll be running into that jab a few times. Virgil,
For sure. Yeah.
I could kind of see that, like similar wise. Like, what you think, like fight styles? Like,
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I just
I don't
Virgil's
think Virgil throws as much as a Zepeda, but he throws more than a
doesn't,
Canelo.
but
If
he does.
you know what
But
I'm saying?
bro, Virgil is a live dog. Like you said, it's super IQ with it though. Like he's not.
Yeah.
He's throwing it hard, but it's not wild hard. Like Zepeda is just throwing. Like Zepeda get close to you, he's throwing. Whereas though Virgil, he don't mind throwing a feint and then throwing. You know what I'm saying? Whereas those Zepeda's throw. He get in range, throw. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's
Mhm.
not touching your face, at least it's touching you. That's kind of like his aspect. But I see it kind of playing out like that. It's kind of hard to say, but I just feel like it's gonna be a decision, like in my heart. I don't know. I just feel a decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For
I
sure.
agree.
Let us know what y'all think in the comment, man. We got Boots versus Virgil Ortiz next. So, like, let us know what y'all think, man. Let us know who y'all like in that matchup. Stay tuned for our next vids. We should be dropping a couple soon. Like,
Mm-hmm.
comment, subscribe. Anything else you guys say, Rob? We get out
Yes,
of here?
sir, man. Just tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend about us. Like you said, we're on all socials. Continue to follow us, and we love making this content for y'all. So we want to keep on making it happen for y'all. And we
All right.
out.
The next time.